butterfly in the sky. I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. I can go anywhere. Friends to know and ways to grow, a reading rainbow. I can be anything. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. A reading rainbow. A reading rainbow. A reading rainbow. A butterfly in the sky. I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. I can go anywhere. Friends to know.
Good morning. Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
I can be anything. Take a look.
This is Grandpa's room.
A reading rainbow. A reading rainbow. I can go anywhere. Friends to know and ways to grow. A reading rainbow. I can be anything. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. A reading rainbow. A reading rainbow. A reading rainbow. A reading rainbow.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the book club, February 2026 edition, with Steel World by B.V. Larson, a pick by PM Triox, which, thank you, PM, for this awesome pick. This book was not on my radar. I didn't know this author. I don't really read, like, military sci-fi fiction. I probably never would have read this otherwise. But I'm very glad I did, because this book fucking rips. It was awesome. So let's start things off. I'll just give the, for those who haven't read it. Also, thank you everyone for coming. Object of Power, thank you for being first. Cathedral, thanks for coming in. And Drink Some Water, thank you for being here. How y'all doing? Hope y'all are having a good weekend. And for everyone who's here, feel free, whether you read today's book or not, you can add a book to the wheel for next month. This is how the wheel's looking right now. So we've got a couple picks from last time that are still on there. So I Am Legend is still on there. The Way of Kings, which if that gets picked, we're going to make it a 2-month book club, because there's no fucking way. I mean, even that, 2 months for Brandon Sanderson is a big ask. His books are long. So if we get that, hey, Fishy, what's going on? How you doing? Thanks for coming. Yeah, if we get that, I don't know. I'd like to keep doing this every month. I'm thinking maybe if we get The Way of Kings or something that's like really long, we give it 2 months, and then next month, like maybe we throw like a manga on or something, or like a comic, something short that we could like read, you can knock out in like an afternoon, and we'll still meet next month and just talk about that, and then have 2 months on Brandon Sanderson. The Peripheral, a William Gibson book, which I'm very excited about. I have not read that one. Vampire Hunter D, the first book in the series, and The Witcher Sword of Destiny, the second Witcher book. And then I'm still trying to decide. I feel like I want to add a point to either Vampire Hunter D or The Witcher. I just don't know which one. But I'll be thinking on that. Hey, Plaid Jammy Pants, what's going on? I've been on one of his audiobooks for more than 2 months. Which one are you listening to? Yeah, I was working on the Mistborn series, which is fucking awesome, but man, they're so long. But not a complaint, just it's a big ask for a book club. Thank y'all for coming. So yeah, just as The Way of Kings. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, so if we get that one, you're ready to go. For those who didn't read it, this is what we read for this month. Book 1 of the Undying Mercenaries series, Steel World. Official summary. I, James McGill, was born in 2099 on the fringe of the galaxy. When Hegemony Financial denied my loan applications, this is kind of loud, at least for me. I don't know about y'all. I'm going to tamp it down. Like right there. I was kicked out of the university and I turned to the stars. My first campaign involved the invasion of a mineral-rich planet called Kinkri 9, better known as Steel World. The attack didn't go well, and now that the Earth has entered a grim struggle for survival. Humanity's mercenary legions go to war in Steel World, best-selling author B.V. Larson's latest science fiction novel. Hey, Frederick, good morning. How you doing? Going to bed soon? Well, thanks for coming in and say hello. If you want to throw I don't know if you want to participate, but if you do, for next month, feel free to throw a book on the wheel. The second Witcher book is up for consideration. You could add a point to that. I know you read the last one with us last time, so feel free. I'm thinking I might add a point to that as well. I really want to continue the Witcher series. I'm just kind of torn between that and Vampire Hunter D. Synopsis. The story takes place on Earth in the early 2100s, set against a history in which a powerful collective of ancient alien races, the Galactics, from the center of the galaxy have annexed Earth into their empire. Each planet in the empire is required to provide a service, often referred to as a trade good, or face extermination. In order to meet that requirement, Earth provides the only valuable thing they have to sell, their soldiers. Earth's mercenary legions have been sold to local star systems for almost a century. As the book opens, James McGill, a mediocre college student and frequent gamer, is living with his parent. When he is financially unable to complete his education, he joins Legion Varus, one of the least respected of the legions. While at the mustering hall, he meets Carlos Ortiz. Despite the tension and frequent fighting between them, they both end up in the same legion, and Carlos ends up being McGill's closest friend in the legion. Legion Varus ships out to their next contract, Kinkri 9, a planet rich in minerals, earning it the name Steel World. Steel World is inhabited and controlled by several varieties of saurian life forms, the most common of these being raptors and juggers. Varus has been hired to put down a local miners' strike. Several engagements between the two sides leading to McGill's first death. Varus possesses advanced alien technology that allows it to grow fresh copies of its soldiers when they die. As the number of battles increases and death count rises, Varus discovers the Legion has been tricked into accepting their contract in order to prove the Saurians are the superior soldiers. Chief Inspector Zlur, a galactic, is secretly observing the contests. The army that wins in the end will be declared the winner and allowed to keep providing mercenary services in the local region of the Empire. If Varus loses, the Saurians will be allowed to take over that service, leaving Earth without a trade good. At the end of the final battle at the planet's spaceport, McGill is the sole survivor. He fails to convince the Nerbs, the impartial judges of the contest, that Varus won the battle, but points out that the Saurians have been using unlicensed revival machines, meaning Varus wins on a technicality. This is actually a really good read. I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, I'm so glad you did. I fucking loved this book. Stopping by to say hi and then I beat Rise of the Tomb Raider. Congrats, that's awesome. I'm not really able to reliably take part in the book club. No worries. So I don't want to sway the odds in any way. No worries. Yeah. Just wanted to throw out the offer if you feel like joining in next month. And again, for anyone here, come and go as you please. If there's ever a month you want to read, jump in there. And if not, jump on back out. It's pretty lax around these parts. Fishy, what did you, anything you want to talk about? Also, like, anyone in here, Plaid Jammy Pants, did you read Steel World? Fishy's the MVP of the book club. Just reads the books every month, no matter what. Even when he hates them, which I appreciate. Yeah, I thought this was awesome. Like I said, I don't really do military sci-fi too much. My sleep schedule and mental health is all over the place. I can't make plans a month in advance, sadly. No worries. I'm sorry to hear that you're not doing too great in that department. I hope you get everything sorted out. And, yeah. No worries. Feel free to join again anytime you like. But yeah, I hope you're doing okay. And let me know if there's anything on my end that I can support you in. Basically nonstop with caveats was really interesting. I don't know how to read. You still haven't fixed that? I remember Object Power. I'm still impressed that you're able to write comments. I know you can't read. This is why, I mean, it's good that, you know, you're here on Twitch to practice your reading and writing skills. If you ever pick up the skill set, though, and want to read a book with us, we could bump it down, like bump down the level a little bit. I don't know, maybe like a Curious George, maybe? Yeah, you're welcome. We support you. Dusty, how you doing? Welcome. Makes an interesting spin on the aspect of war itself. Yeah. What do we want to start with? I thought the actual world building here was really, really cool. I had some notes. Let's see. I like the idea of what we understand about empires with our own, you know, Earth history. And like thinking about that in terms of like this vast galactic empire that we have never even, they have not even deigned to introduce themselves to us formally. We don't even know what the galactics look like. They don't give a shit. We're some backwater out in the middle of nowhere. It's such a vast empire, like they don't even think about conquering us really. They send some like low-level trade representatives to basically say like, hey, now that you have, I think it wasn't in this book, but the back of this book has like a teaser for the second book, which like lays out the timeline, which is really cool, and it incorporates all of our like Roswell and all the history that we have as like, oh yeah, those were like basically surveillance missions from low-level galactics here to just like keep an eye on us. Like, oh, okay, they're now like they've mastered space travel, and oh, they've made it to their moon. Okay, and at a certain point, like, okay, they're at a high enough level of technological sophistication that we now have to like deal with them because they're going to start making contact and being perceived by other things in our empire. So like, here's the deal. Basically, y'all don't have any choices. You are a backwater nothing planet, and you're going to work for us. So what do you got? And it turns out we don't really have anything other than just cannon fodder. Like, okay, you can send troops and we'll send you out whenever like someone in the Galactic Empire needs something. Like in this book, the catalytic event is like shutting down a miners' strike with the dinos, like on this random alien world. Just do shit like that, you know? And, but exploring all of the aspects of the Empire was really cool. Yeah, I read the teaser book 2 and it has the timeline. Yeah. Do you think you're going to read book 2? Because I already downloaded it. Like, I'm ready to go. And this was a quick read, too. Like, it's a page turner. I was saying on the stream last night, I was reading this book on my lunch break, and a couple days, specifically on Friday, like, I looked at the clock and I was like physically angry. Like, I gotta go back to work. I'm like so immersed in this book right now. Like, I gotta go do a job. Like, I'm about to walk out of here so I can keep reading. Probably will. Yeah, I want to at least read, like, I gotta know a little bit more about this world. There's like 20 something books. Like, I don't see myself ever going through all those. And I don't know, like, it's hard for me to imagine it being interesting for that long, but then again, I didn't think this would be my thing in the first place, and then it really was. I think the Undying Mercenaries has like, let's see if we can find that out real quick. What do we got? They only have entries through 6. Let's see. Time to sleep. Thanks for the chat and stream. Thanks for coming in. Hope you have a good sleep. I really wonder if the author was inspired by the Warhammer 40k universe. Yeah, I was feeling some connection to Warhammer as well. I kind of get that. Here we go. So yeah, it looks like Steel World is number 1. Dust World, Tech World, Machine World, Death World, Home World, Rogue World, Blood World, Dark World, Storm World, Armor World, Clone World, Glass World, Edge World, Green World, Ice World, City World, Sky World, Jungle World, Crystal World, Throne World, Rebel World, Rage World, and Demon World. I mean, Demon World sounds pretty badass. I don't know. Might have to read 24 books. Holy. But yeah. Holy literature, man. The titles sound like 40k Dune Battletech all at once, yeah? It was cool though. I realized like actually this kind of is my thing. Maybe I just haven't had that much experience with it. Like military fiction just in general, like I don't find the characters usually that relatable. And even here, like, yeah, McGill is kind of an asshole, but endearing in a lot of ways, and it is cool to follow his journey. And that's why I was wondering, like, would I like to continue this series? Like, at the end of the day, like, they're not the kinds of characters I like to follow, really, but they are the kinds of characters that this world would produce, and it makes sense to, like, build a narrative around them, you know? But, like, as the first book, we have the benefit of being introduced to, like, how this universe functions. And that's very interesting to me. I found that more interesting than, like, the battle scenes, which were still very good, like, very well written and kind of visceral. Very violent and gory, but, like, very immersive. Like, just, B.B. Larson is a great writer. But then, like, as this world goes, like, as the series goes on, like, is it going to be more about the characters and the events and less about the world building? I don't know. So I got to at least read another book or two to find out. Really? I didn't see the MC as an asshole? I guess it's... Yeah. He's got a couple moments where, I guess, like, relative to the other characters, like, Carlos is the real asshole. I can see that he'd come off as an asshole via his goody two-shoes moments. Carlos is a real piece of work. And, like, actively, like, kind of frustrating. And, like, the way he'll just, like, I don't know. Like, McGill comes in and he just, like, tackles him from behind and just, like, punches him in the stomach. Like, what a fucking asshole. Carlos is actually just an ass. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, this... So, I read Starship Troopers not long ago, and, like, that book has full-on, like, sort of fascist polemics in it. And, you know, and then the movie, like, really plays that up. And so, I guess I'm thinking, like, relative to other kind of, like, space marine fiction, I actually found, like, the characters more endearing, like I was saying, but there is still that, like, level of, I don't know, sometimes I can't relate to, like, the kind of space marine kind of character. But here is probably, like, the best case scenario. I can see McGill being an ass and thinking of doing good without regarding what other characters think. Yeah. That's a good point, too. And I don't know, like, his actions, like, he's kind of just unhinged, like, when he's got these, like, moments of, like, primal response to an event, like when he's sentenced to be executed, like permadeath. He, like, tries to attack the Tribune. But you can kind of feel from his perspective, you know? It's probably the only way, I think. When he actually gets pissed. Yeah. But then again, you can kind of see it from his perspective, so it's relatable, you know? He's very heroic. It's warranted. Yeah. Like, he does, like, as it goes on, I guess I was thinking more, like, initially, like, I found him kind of off-putting. And I guess that's the process of his characterization through the book. By the end of it, I guess you're right. I didn't really feel that way. I did early on, though. But you do have, a genuine, like, character growth in this, where, like, he's kind of just full of himself early on. And the process of, like, actually dying. Actually, it's the moment... I don't know if I highlighted this, but I think I might have. Yeah, okay. So the thing that's really interesting about this world is like we have this regeneration technology where the reason that Earth can keep sending out all these troops again and again as these mercenaries is because we have bought regeneration tech from the Galactics, but it's very expensive and it's limited. So basically, like, these Space Marines can just die again and again and again, and as long as they have a confirmed death, because it's illegal. The thing about this universe too is like everything is by the law. Like the Galactics they rule with an iron fist, and if you betray any small aspect of like trade law down to like your conduct on the battlefield, like you can be excised from the Empire and destroyed. So like legal disputes are very important. So it is illegal to reproduce like a human or just like a life form without confirming that the previous body has deceased, so that we don't have multiple clones of anybody running around. So like there are moments where like there is genuine stress of like, are these characters going to survive? Are they going to get permadeathed? Because like if you die in a situation where you can't be retrieved, where they can't confirm whether you have perished or whether there's no connection to the revival tech, where you're like your consciousness has not been backed up or uploaded, and you die in that situation, like permadeath, you don't come back. But otherwise, they can keep coming back, and they get like regenerated, and it takes them like an hour to sort of get it together. I found him just relatable and almost bland. In some ways, it's almost to the point where he's too perfect somehow. I don't know how to pin it down. Maybe it's because the other characters are far more extreme. Yeah, that's a good point. He is like sort of not a blank slate, but like a sort of general kind of character archetype that you can like focalize through and like deliver the narrative. And like he's got some definite like individual attributes, but mostly like he is a vehicle for like you need hero in story to rise the ranks and show you the world, and someone that you can root for. But yeah, there's not a whole lot there beyond that. I guess I do agree with that. Power system is actually laid out pretty well. The red system, that is. Yeah. Like I really liked all that aspect of getting into the tech and how this functions, and like learning more about the Galactic Empire by way of like how precious this technology is, how much they value it above human life, because human life is now expendable mostly, because you can just always come back. But the real thing, and they will expend troops and like just die in pursuit of like near the end when he goes into the tunnel, mostly just so that he can retrieve part of the machine so that some of his friends don't get permadeathed, so they can get backed up. But like even then, like they're pissed at him and want to execute him because he destroyed the tech and like is so much more valuable than his life. But this is the moment where I actually started to find him relatable. Early on, I was like, yeah, he's just like kind of a young, cocky, like joining the military academy, full of himself, not taking anything seriously, a little arrogant. But he is humbled by actually his first death out on the battlefield. I thought I was ready for this, but I don't think anyone ever will be. The shock of it was intense. It wasn't even pain exactly, just a weird nervous pinching feeling, like I had a crick in my neck or something. Using my left hand, I tried to line up the rifle again, but long before I managed that, something ate my knee. 1 second I had two legs, and then I was down and I saw a creature running off with one of them dangling from its mouth. I made some hoarse sounds then. They were loud in my helmet. I looked back, craning my neck. I saw Carlos. There was no point in running, but Carlos was going for it anyway. I could hardly blame him. At least for him it was quicker. A jugger ran him down and took his head and shoulders right off, chewing and shaking. He was dead in a second. I wasn't so lucky. The raptors were all over me, and they didn't make it quick. I know for certain, no matter how long I live, no matter how many times I die, I'll never forgive those dinos for eating my guts out while I watched. It's just a really good scene. Yeah, permadeath. It was the one thing we all feared deep down. Who hadn't in the vast history of warfare? In my lucky legion, no one seemed to mind the idea of being torn apart in Earth's service. But permadeath was different. No revival, no reconstruction. It was the old-fashioned kind of death, the type that lasted forever. It's written really well. Yeah, the visceral nature of it all. Yeah. So many times it's just like, it's so immediate. You know, you get these scenes of like he's running from the dinos and he just looks and like, and then he looked and like, whoever it was, like this character that you've come to know and love, like their head is missing and they've just been ripped apart. And like there's gore dripping from the like the Jugger's mouth or something, you know? And I thought early on, like, oh, is this going to kind of feel like a lack of stakes because these characters can just be regenerated again and again? And no, because of the danger of permadeath and how many times they get in a situation where, like, when they're down in the mines and Steelworld, so mineral rich, so metal rich that, like, communications cannot permeate the crust of this planet. So when they have to delve down to the mines, like if they get lost down there, if they die down there, it's basically permadeath. They won't be able to be confirmed as like alive or deceased. They won't be able to be retrieved. There's no backup potential. So the author finds a way of continually like removing and then reinstating the stakes of like actual permadeath. And then also like having so much interesting world building and character development around the idea of dying again and again. And there's a couple moments that I really liked related to that. It's really good, yeah. And somehow the author makes death seem semi-meaningful, even with the res system. Yeah, there's a moment, it's one of my favorites, because it really expands on like what it would mean to just like continually die. Feel yourself die. Shit, where is it? I think it's pretty... Most of my notes, I think, are about death. Maybe I just need to go through this in order. Let's see. Permadeath. Yeah, he gets philosophical. This is what I was trying to find. And his trainer is just like, stop thinking, just go, idiot. Yeah, I love this moment. This is it. He had just died, and then like he basically gets rezzed, and then like they throw him right back out on the battlefield. Like, we're in the middle of this onslaught. You got to get back out there. And he's just like, it was his first death, because you find out they kill all the trainees during training. McGill survives because he's very resourceful. He doesn't die, and he's like pissed off about them trying to kill him, but later on he kind of gets it, like, oh, there's a reason they kill us all during training, because you don't want your first death to be out on the battlefield, because it's very disorienting. And this is that moment. Harris watched the two of us and chuckled. Bad death, eh? Yeah, I said, my first. Ah, didn't know you were a virgin. Well, we've given you a second chance. Make Legion Varus proud, boy. Get up there and shoot as many lizards as you can. I looked at him for a second. Our eyes met. Veteran Harris, I'm sorry I killed you back on the ship. I just lost my temper. That's all forgotten, he said, but I can see now that you know what it means to die. It's not fun, is it? No, and I don't want to do it again. He came closer and peered into my face. You haven't gotten all soft on me now, have you, McGill? Back on the ship, you were the one with fire in his eyes. Now Carlos looks more like a man than you do. It wasn't his first time, I said, thinking about it. Harris nodded. That's right, it wasn't. Now you know why we kill most of the recruits during training. A man like Carlos, he's experienced death. He's not contemplating some metaphysical mindfuck the way you are right now. He's up on the walls killing lizards for revenge. That's just where the Legion wants him. I love that. He's just like, he's not out here contemplating some metaphysical mindfuck. And like, yeah, you just see like, oh my God, what does it mean to live? What am I? What is this corporeal form? What is the meaning of the universe? And just like, no, you're in the middle of battle. We can't be having you do this for the first time right now. Get out there and shoot some lizards. It's just a great moment. That's the thing I loved most about this. Like, presenting all of these ideas for the tech and then really getting into the minutia and like what it would mean on a human level to experience this. What it would do to your sense of self, your philosophy, how you find meaning in the universe. What does it mean to die? What does it mean to die when the stakes are removed? When you know you're going to be revived? What does it mean when the stakes are back in place and you're facing permadeath? It really does make you think. If you can just res nonstop, yeah. But then you still have like, they bring it up again and again about how like his animal instincts kick in. Like even moments, like it's so well written. Even when like permadeath is not a danger, and he's like, yeah, I have contact with a ship right now. I've been backed up recently. Like, there's nothing to fear. I know I'll be back in an hour. Back to like how I feel right now. But there's this animalistic instinct that kicks in, like, but I don't want to die. But I don't want to die. And also, like, they die in some really painful ways. I think, is it Natasha or is it Kiwi? I'm trying to remember now. It's one of his female love interests. I felt like there could have been some more writing around those characters. Like, I felt like they were underdeveloped. Like, I have a couple small criticisms of the book. They kind of just exist for him to just, like, be interested in. Like, Anne Grant is the only one that actually had much going on. And she's a cool character. I want to see more of her, and I'm hoping that we will in the next book. Because she works in the bio department, so, like, there's not a whole lot of interaction between McGill and her, except for when he's being rezzed up. But she dies. Was it Kiwi? Like, she's talking about how, and I think it's up when they're on the wall, and she gets caught in the inferno and, like, boils inside her suit. And she's like, my suit just kept functioning for, like, a minute or two. Do you remember who that was? Was it Natasha? And just, like, she feels her, like, she's looking and feeling her flesh, like, cook, like she's, like, inside a pot. And it wasn't Kiwi. Yeah, I couldn't remember who it was. It might have been Natasha. But, like, the physical pain of some of these deaths, too. They're like, yeah, you're going to come back, but you're going to go through that first. Jesus. That's a lot. I didn't want to think about what had just happened to me. The idea of being reconstructed and revived from a data chip had sounded great, but the reality of it was chilling. Was I really me anymore? My flesh? The body I'd lived within all my life. That was still out there in the jungle somewhere. Alien theropods were digesting parts of me in their stomachs. What was this clothing of meat I found myself residing in now? This vessel of muscle and bone reconstituted from base chemicals. How could that be me? And, like, this is all going through his mind because this is his first death. As he's, like, being thrown back out into the fray, just like, go shoot some lizards. Like, but I'm contemplating what am I? It's like the ship of Theseus kind of thing. Like, what am I? Who am I? If I'm always just, like, being reborn, am I the same person? Really? That one was brutal. Yeah, it was. I think it was Natasha. I think you're right. And just some really good writing around that. I really enjoyed getting some insight into his psyche. Oh, I thought this was good. There's a callback to this moment. I thought to myself that I'd probably never had a real goal of substance in my entire life. Something I wanted to do more than anything else. Something that would make me growl with satisfaction when it was achieved. And then, it's at the end of that chapter, I think. Yeah, I thought it was good, like, getting in the headspace of this recruit. When they finally, like, drive back the forces, I looked at Carlos and he grinned back. We were overjoyed, if only because we were still alive. Varys! Roared a voice. 1,000 other throats joined in. I did the same, swept up with the emotion. He said this sort of, like, detached, like, begrudging, like, I picked Varys because, like, no one would take me because I fucked up my psych evaluation, you know. Still, like, kind of sore about, like, I had to quit college because we ran out of funds. Like, he is very relatable. I actually think I want to take back the asshole comment. Like, he did a couple things throughout the story that, like, I wouldn't want to hang out with this guy. But then again, considering the world he lives in, and it's very bleak. Like, Earth is basically, like, under, like, the yoke of this galactic empire, cannot make any choices for itself, just has to, like, send troops here. The situation on Earth is very grim. You just have, like, rampant corporate control of everything. And, you know, he doesn't have a lot of opportunities, and he has to quit college because his family runs out of funds. And, yeah, he doesn't really have any opportunities, so he joins this legion that he finds out has, like, a reputation for getting wiped. The whole squadron wiped out. And permadeath. Everyone gets permadeath, which is not a regularity. So, yeah, he's thrown into this world, and it is a brutal world. So, actually, all things considered, Carlos is an asshole. McGill, I think he's all right. Actually. And moments like that were kind of relatable. Like, I could see, like, yeah, he was forced into this situation, but for the first time in his life, like, he's finding moments of, like, he's finding, like, this ability within himself valor and like courage and a purpose. And I liked that this moment follows up on his kind of internal monologue previously, where like, I don't think I'd ever really had anything in my life that I really wanted to fight for. It would make me growl with pleasure at having seen it through, you know? So like, there's good moments of character within here. Like, the most compelling things are the world building. But yeah, he was a cool character to follow. Just looking to see if I did. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about, Fishy? In particular? Yeah, I thought this was interesting too. Probably the legal dudes. Yeah, that was interesting too. This is kind of related to that. I nodded. It wasn't unusual to meet up with new alien species when the Galactics brought us a new product they thought we might wish to spend our hard-won credits on. Humanity wasn't allowed to wander around exploring on its own, naturally. That was forbidden. Only the aliens who ran the scout ships did that kind of thing. They were the experts, and the rest of us weren't permitted to compete with them in any way. There was no empire-wide internet service to inform us about our neighbors either. Each star system was effectively cut off from all the others, and wasn't allowed to interact except for conducting approved trading missions, such as I was on right now. I like the idea of Earth being brought into this, like, discovering you're a part of this vast galactic empire, this infinite cosmos. Oh my god, there's alien life everywhere. And you don't get to meet any of it. Like, so much of sci-fi is just like, you find a captain and a ship and you follow them along on these journeys as, you know, whether it's like, kind of like a space opera, or like, I don't know, like smugglers and like a roguish type, like a Firefly kind of thing, or like a Star Trek, like Federation Enterprise ship going around, but like always going around to all these different places in the cosmos and finding all these interesting alien worlds and interacting with them. New alien of the week, new monster of the week kind of thing. And here we have a situation like, no, Earth is brought in to pay tribute to Empire. You go on very specific missions that we scout out for you. You make contact with the worlds we want you to, and only that, and you don't learn any more than you need to. You don't even get to know what the Galactics look like. You don't get to meet all of these alien species. There is no, like, just trucking around the universe in your little smuggling vessel and seeing what you see. There's no space opera. There's no adventure. Like, you are part of a system, and you play your role, and that is it. The seal-looking slimes, yeah, they're just full logic and a lot. It was really interesting, like, how the story ties up with, like, they went on a technicality because the Saurians were using, like, pirated tech. Yeah, I don't know if I highlighted anything from that specifically. I'm trying to think now. But I did like that. I liked when it's Miguel and Carlos, they, like, break in, and the Nerbs, right? Just extra gear to add an existing engine that doesn't need you. Yeah, it's so rough. I know. It's very bleak. They're just like, you both execute yourselves in front of us right now. You have violated galactic law. And they, like, get into this sort of, like, sparring battle of just, like, trying to one-up one another in, like, technicalities. You know? Like, no, we didn't use an air car. It's like, no, air cars are forbidden. Like, well, we found it here. Off yourselves now. Yeah. And then, we request, like, a full, like, tribunal, and we exist, like, we are allowed an appeal to, like, the existing body that manages these disputes, like, bringing the Galactic. Like, there's all of these layers of bureaucracy. Even McGill is supposed to be executed, right? And they bring him back, some of his superiors, because he's such a good soldier. They bring him back in secret, and that's why part of the book is dealing with him secretly being revived, and it's a bad form, like spoiled meat, basically, because, like, they were doing it on the hush hush, and it didn't go through proper channels, so that wasn't logged, because the Galactics want him dead. And there's even this lingering worry at the end of the book, like, they might still figure out that we did this. It takes years for things to work through the galactic bureaucracy. You never know when they're going to come back and bring this dispute back up to our attention. And if you violate galactic law, Earth is one body. They don't prosecute the individual. All of Earth is liable for every action committed by every Earth form. Arbitration. So much arbitration. Yeah, which actually was really interesting to read about. Especially because, like, the last, I don't even know, 30% of this book is, like, so heavy on the action. It's just constant battles. It's constant action, like, from the moment that, like, really, like, they go down on that mine expedition, and then you have, like, a reprieve from that, and then after that, it's, like, onslaught. And you find out later it's because the Saurians were using regen technology, and just wave after wave, it just keeps coming, and they're getting decimated. But then in the middle of that, you have this, like, moment of arbitration, and it is a nice reprieve of, like, there's a battle raging outside, but we're in here arguing about whether we should be allowed to have a stay on our self-deletion here, our execution, because of, you know, technically, maybe we broke the law in this way, but it was justified. Good comedic relief. Yeah. I really liked this book. It was paced so well. There were moments of, like, levity and comedy. The action was so visceral. The universe is very interesting, and the world building is so well done. And it's just like there's no moments of, like, really long exposition. Like, it's always, you learn more as a drip feed throughout the book of just, like, you learn more about the tech and the Empire as it comes up in conversation naturally, whether it's in, like, the moments of arbitration or, like, this one-off conversation with someone in the bio unit who's, like, let something slip about the tech. And just at the end of the book, you have a pretty good understanding of how the universe is functioning to a certain degree. But, like, at no point did I look back and say, like, oh yeah, there was, like, you know, like, this page-long diatribe from this character who explained this. It's just, like, within dialogue, within the scene. But back to the McGill revive when he shouldn't be. It is a weird decision, I feel, with how high the stakes are for Earth with just him being alive. I agree. I felt that, like, that was a little contrived, because they state that the Nerubs know how many times a person is revived. Is there's a biological counter they add to your DNA or something? Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. Like, you find out, and it makes sense. Like, oh yeah, every time you're revived, it's like a fingerprint almost. Like, they can scan you, this form, and see the metadata or whatever. So it did seem like everything we've learned about the universe, were like, nothing matters. We will kill you and your entire squadron before we would let any valuable tech fall into the enemy's hands. You are expendable. We don't give a shit. Because nobody gives a shit about Earth. You know? Nothing matters. Everyone is just a little cog in this vast machine. But, that said, we're going to lay everything on the line for McGill. It's like, I can see his immediate superiors, like, fighting for him because they know him. They care about him, you know? It's a very odd disconnect. Yeah, because they state that the Nerubs know... Oh, sorry, I just read that one, yeah. But yeah, it's weird. Like, when it gets to the Primus, she wants to off him. Like, she wants to go through with the execution, and that makes sense. But I think it's at the very end, and I'm trying to remember the term. The superior of the Primus, when they bring him in, this is still with the Nerubs. I'm trying to remember his title. I don't know if you remember, Fishy, but the final hearing for McGill. Should I forget? Yeah, I think it's around here. I was just seeing if I could find it. Oh, yeah. Okay, because this is like when he's being tried for murder of Thompson. But he gets cleared on self-defense, which that one made sense. Tribune? Yeah, was he just called Tribune? Now this is the scene. Okay. Is it I guess it was. Yeah, the Tribune eyed me seriously. Yeah, I was thinking like it was just referring to the tribunal, but I guess that was his rank. Yeah, the fact that he We need people like James McGill. Don't you two see that? Legion Varus is a rough outfit. Many have tried to tame this legion, and all have failed. I'm displeased with all of you, except the recruit. It is your job to guide and nurture the natural attributes of the recruits Earth sends us, not to perm anyone who annoys you. Let me remind you that we need people who think outside the box, people who win against the odds. Like, I don't know, I felt like this is the kind of argument that I felt like his immediate superiors would make, but as you rise the ranks, I was surprised to see, like, such a high-level military officer think in this way. Yeah, I think it was a stretch. I think it was a little too contrived. I could see, like, the author getting in the situation where, like, we need to, like, tie this up and try and justify it. We can't just, like, write it off. So, like, there was an attempt here to, like, write through it and, like, try and figure it out and, like, have this play out with the tribunal here. And there is some good stuff here where, like, yeah, the tribune is frustrated with the Primus for, like, withholding all this information, and you can see, like, everyone was just trying to cover their ass. But to that point, like, I feel like he would be trying to cover his ass, where, like, there's so many ranks above him and ultimately the Earth. And, like, I just felt like he would be thinking in terms of making sure that the Earth is, like, at no point putting itself in a predicament by keeping this one recruit, even though he had this moment of great, like, courage and valor and victory. Like, I would just felt like he would be more concerned about, like, but if he's been revived illegally, like, Earth, all of Earth will pay for that crime. It's just not worth it, you know? The larger stake, yeah, the stakes are so large. Like, we're told again and again, like, how great the stakes are, that I just can't imagine a high-level officer thinking that way. So that was, like, a little contrived there. A couple small criticisms, like I said. It wasn't enough to really, like, make me dislike it. Like, overall, like, the end of the narrative was so satisfying that just, like, yeah, okay, it's fine. It's, yeah, I don't know. I just accept it. I liked it enough where I would keep reading the next book, but may have written himself too far into a corner. It's, like, I was, like, thinking about it in terms of, like, author approaching a piece of fiction they're working on, you know, like, stepping outside the narrative and, like, yeah, you had some, like, it's hard to make all this work. And I can't really think of a better option, honestly, other than, like, maybe it just stays hidden, you know? I don't know. They find a way to, like, not bring in the higher level tribune and, like, solve it amongst themselves. Because, like, I could see lower level superiors making these kinds of decisions because they're thinking more like they're closer to the ground. But I felt like the higher you get up through the bureaucracy, the less they're going to be thinking about one individual soldier in one individual unit in one legion, you know, representing this one part of Earth's mercenary forces. Like, it just didn't make sense. Other than MC swapping a new book, but that would be cooked. I'm wondering, like, are all these books about McGill? I don't know. Are you going to follow him for 20-something books? Has to be. I don't know. They're all in the Undying Mercenary series, so we're dealing with these, but I kind of wonder. I would be open to, like, I was, you know, fine following him as a character. I at least want to see him in another book or two. I feel like there's a lot more to explore with him, of him, like, being still, like, pretty newly introduced to this world. I mean, it was just his first campaign, you know, but at a certain point, like, if the universe is interesting enough, but, like, I don't know, we've seen everything there is to see with McGill. Maybe you oscillate to someone else. Also, this is not related to this book, but every author seems to be a bestseller. Yeah. Oh, I like this. This is the final scene. I just think this is kind of funny. He's had this moment. This long battle. And it was brutal. And everyone's dead. And then you have the Nerb show up. And this is the arbitration that was actually really funny, right? He's, like, lying under this dino. Oh, and he's trying to convince them, like, I was seeing the same creature with the same scar on its stomach multiple times. I kept killing it, kept coming back. They're using regeneration tech. And then they find out that, like, oh yeah, they've been using pirated tech illegally, regenerating their forces illegally without approval from the galactic bodies. They violated galactic law. And he's trying to win on a technicality, and they're like, "Can you move or whatever?" And he's like, "Move this corpse off of me, and I will step out and show you." This one is great, yeah. And they're just like arguing about fucking legal disputes. And he makes contact with the ship. "Sir," I said, "this is Recruit McGill, reporting in from the spaceport. I'm alive and requesting extraction." "McGill? It figures. What are you doing alive down there?" "Defending the spaceport, sir, as ordered." "We lost that battle, McGill. Didn't anyone tell you?" "The Nerbs tried to. I couldn't talk them out of it, even at the point of a gun." Graves was silent for several seconds. I thought he might start screaming at me, but he didn't. He chuckled instead. I could not recall ever having heard him laugh before. "Here's some piece of work, McGill. I'm getting something over the exec channel about the Nerbs. Something about a formal charge. Would that be your doing?" "I did my best, sir." "You got a brass pair, kid. All right, I'm recalling you right now." "When is the lifter due?" "What lifter? We haven't got the time or resources for a lifter." "Well, then what?" I began, but trailed off. The channel was dead. I couldn't raise him again. I stood around after that, watching the suns rise. I figured maybe Graves had an air car of his own or some other conveyance. I was wrong. The missile caught the corner of my eye. I barely had time to turn my head and face it. Streaking right down from orbit, it must have been riding my signal all the way from space. I had only a second or two to even realize what it was. The contrail. The tiny glimmer of fire. They blew me up! 1 second I was standing there on the rugged surface of Steel World, soaking up the harsh rays of the concrete dawn. And the next I was broken down into my component atoms. I hadn't even tried to run or seek shelter. What would have been the point? I'd been recalled to Corvus. The hard way. And like, yeah, that... It actually, I kind of like, as it was happening, like, oh, I know what they're going to do. But it was still funny. Just like, the line drop up, the missile caught the corner of my eye. Like, yeah, they're not going to send a fucking lifter down for you. All those resources, the time and energy, and like putting that ship in harm's way. No, they will just blast you into oblivion and just res you back up on the ship. Easy peasy. But yeah, like one final death. One final, fuck you, you don't matter. You're just meat for the grinder. Great book. Have we learned how much of a jerk McGill is? You know what, PM? We were talking about it, Fishy and I. Welcome in. And at first I was like, he's kind of an asshole. And Fishy pushed back on me. And the more we talked about it, like, you know what? He was at first, but by the end of it, I actually found him fine. Like, he's not the kind of character that I tend to, like in most fiction. But in terms of, like, kind of this space marine sort of genre, like, I think he's one of the best, about as good as you can do for, like, a character that's believable to exist in this world and profession, in this bleak dystopia. He's all right. I can't see him as a jerk ass. Yeah, I think I had some, like, lingering thoughts about him, like, from the initial part of the book. But now that I'm really, like, thinking about all of his actions as a whole and, like, what he did, like, yeah, it's believable. I love the book, PM. Thank you for recommending this. This was fucking awesome. Like, we talked about, like, a couple small issues. Like, Fishy and I both had the same idea of the ending with, basically the Tribune, like, willing to put it all on the line. Like, Earth's fate, but their relationship with the Galactic Empire to save McGill and not execute him. And possibly have this, like, lingering violation of law for the sake of, like, one recruit. A little contrived, like, a little too much, but, like, I didn't really care that much. I kind of, like, registered it as, yeah, that's not ideal, but the book was so good. Yeah. It was a great book, yeah. One of my favorite books that we've read, for sure. Guy Fighting Dinosaurs on Iron Planet is pretty fun. Have you read later books? Because we were talking about it. Like, I want to at least read the next book. And the fact that, like, there was a teaser for it in the back of the first book, and it, like, laid out the timeline, like, oh man, if it gets into more, like, exploring initial contact with the Galactics, and, like, I feel like it will. I gotta read it. Dustworld's the next one. Yeah, I downloaded it already. Like, and I think I'm gonna jump right on it. Do you get 40K vibes from the book? Yeah, do you? It's a bit 40K in a sense. I got that too, but then also like I'm not really well versed in like this kind of sci-fi. I haven't read a lot of it, so like I thought of like Starship Troopers and 40K, but just because like that's kind of the extent of my sort of Space Marine kind of experience. Definitely like this more than Starship Troopers. God damn, man. Also like thinking about, is the character a jerk? I don't know. Maybe kind of at times, but overall like, well, he's not a fucking fascist. So, it's better read than Starship Troopers. I wouldn't say it's on the same level. It's more of Earth is a backwater or an afterthought. Yeah, I loved all that. I loved, we really both enjoyed, Fishy and I, like the NARBs and like all of the arbitration and legal disputes, like in the middle of the conflict. And like, pause. Have you just violated galactic law? Execute yourself right here. And like this is like there's a battle just raging like right outside the walls of this compound, but we're gonna stop and argue about legal disputes right here and now, because like ultimately that is what's most important. That's why the ending is not really believable. We're told again and again like the galactic law is the most important consideration for anyone in this empire, but McGill is just that fucking great that we're gonna risk it all. We're gonna bet it all on McGill. Yeah, world building is really well done. Yeah, it was great. PM, if you want to share anything, we've been talking for about an hour. I've shared most of my thoughts and excerpts I had, but anything you want to talk about before we spin the wheel for the next book? But yeah, great read. If I weren't like really wanting to read The Witcher or Vampire Hunter D, I would maybe just put the next book in the series on the wheel. See if we could just jump right into it, but I might do that later. For a future book club. Hey Meg, thanks for lurking. Appreciate you coming in. Yeah, we're finishing up our conversation on Steel World, which was really rad. I had to skip out because I had something going, but the existential nature of the reprints is something they kind of gloss over but really play with later. Whoops. I highlighted this passage. I thought it was so funny and very well written. When he has his first death. And it like brings it all together of like his animalistic instinctual desire to survive training. And like in the back of his mind, like they wouldn't kill all of us new recruits right away. Like, so obviously they're going to revive us, but he can't help like fighting to just not perish. And he survives training, but everyone else pretty much dies. And then he has his first death and then he's like in the middle of battle, you know? And I just love the line, like he has to go right back out into the fray. And then Harris is like, is it your first death? Yeah. Like, that's right, it wasn't. Now you know why we kill most of the recruits during training. A man like Carlos, he's experienced death. He's not contemplating some metaphysical mindfuck the way you are right now. And he's, like, so lost. Like, what am I? Am I still myself? Like, my body is being digested by dinos out there right now. Like, who am I? What is my place? How much is the human mind and soul tied to the physical form? Like, no, pick up a snap rifle and start shooting. We can't do this right now. Miguel dies a lot, and not nicely. The death scenes are so visceral. We were talking about a few of them. That, like, even when it's not permadeath, you feel the stakes of, like, they have to go through severe physical trauma. And then moments where, like, whether it's they're down in the mines, or they haven't been backed up, or, like, if they were to die now, there's no one to verify whether they've died or not, so they can't legally be revived. The author finds ways to smartly instate, like, the real greater stakes of permadeath here and there throughout the book. And there's always the lingering, like, maybe. Like, things seem like right now I have contact with the ship, but what if something went awry? There is always that danger. Or, ultimately, even though it kind of gets the author in trouble with the plot of, like, trying to sort out, like, his illegal resurrection, having his bad grow, his degrading form because he was like surreptitiously, secretly regrown illegally with bad materials. And then having some of the bio staff against him that want to see him dead and like, you know what? Like he has contact with the ship right now, but if he were taken out and sent to be revived, would they revive him? Some of these people on staff that are in charge of like bringing him back, they might just say, fuck this guy and not do it. Also, I love that they win the war by exposing the... Saurians cheated. It's really well done. Like, because you can see, like, oh, there's no way they're going to win this conflict. How is this going to work out? And like, well, the same thing that got us into trouble gets them into trouble, which is they broke the law. They broke the law. Objectively, he's not the same person, but ultimately, yeah, pick up the damn gun. Yeah. Yeah, there's like, it flirts with some of the philosophical issues. I feel like later books would explore that in greater depth. I'm very excited to read more of this series. It was great. Philosophically, it really does nudge that the soul doesn't exist and who you are is just essentially just your memories. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you gotta wonder, we can only operate on what we're told. These characters are all under the assumption that they're being fully revived with everything intact, but they only know what they know. What's being left out? Because you do have, is it Thompson, the Centurion, who tries to kill McGill, and then he gets the syringe and gets her first. And, you know, she comes back, and she doesn't remember any of those events. And there are situations where, like, you know, you're only as good as your last backup. So anything that's happened in the interim, you don't know about. But then, I don't know, are there actual other degradations in your memory banks or your mind, quote unquote, that every time you, like, are you the same person? Or are they forgetting parts of themselves or, like, leaving data behind that they're not even aware of? We don't know. Great, great book. It's really quite a mindfuck when you think about it. Yeah. I will say McGill's womanizing tendency will come up in the other books more prominently. Yeah. That was like, I had the small criticism of like the kind of contrived conclusion to the conflict there. And then like, I just felt like, I don't know. The female characters were not well written. They kind of just existed for him to be interested in. Other than Anne Grant, I wanted to see more of her. And hopefully we will in a future book. But like, Kiwi and Natasha, like they kind of just exist for McGill to be interested in. And I mean, Carlos, we had a lot of Carlos, but that was a lot of big words the second I joined. Hey, hello, crowd. Wait, welcome in. We do a monthly book club on my channel, and so we read Steel World by B.V. Larson. Hey, McTeddy, what's going on? Welcome. But yeah, we're just finishing up our discussion on Steel World. We're going to spin a wheel. Welcome to the channel. I don't know if you're what brings you by today, but if you have any interest in joining a monthly book club, feel free to suggest a book that we're going to read for next month. It's very true, the femme characters are pretty poor, character-wise, except the one bio, as you said. Yeah. Hopefully that improves in a future book. Really like the characters in general. Like, most of the peripheral characters, like, I wouldn't say I had trouble keeping them straight, but there just wasn't there, like, when I thought about them as people, like, what are they? They're kind of their roles, other than, like, Harris and Graves and Carlos. And it's just because, like, the book is concerned with McGill's experience and, like, the experience of the recruit being thrown out into this new world in life. And so, yeah, that's something for a sequel to tackle, and hopefully it does. I don't know, I was just looking through IRL things, and you popped up with a book and the tag Japan, so it piqued my interest. Oh, okay, right on. Glad to have you. Yeah, I do live in Japan, so we do some things related to Japan sometimes. I play some books. I read some games. I play some books. I occasionally play something in Japanese. We've done a couple games in Japanese, but yeah. Then we do this in the midst of the video games. Nothing much, just busy working this weekend. Well, I hope work goes well. Yeah, it was not great. They're fleshed out and kind of tell McGill to push rocks up a hill later on. A lot of his friends will expand for the better rejecting him, I think. Okay. So with that, unless we have any other final thoughts about Steel World, we're gonna spin that wheel. Are you fluent? No. Nah, I get by, but maybe someday. But I wouldn't say I'm fluent. Are you studying Japanese? It's going okay. Hoping to have an update for Monday. Right on. So yeah, anyone here right now, if you've not put a book on the wheel, if you don't see your book on the wheel, and you told me about it earlier, please tell me now so I can fix it before we spin it. Right now we've got I Am Legend, The Way of Kings, Restaurant at the End of the Universe, The Peripheral, Vampire Hunter D, The Witcher, Sword of Destiny. We got a good mix. We got some fantasy, some cyberpunk, some William Gibson stuff, some whimsical Douglas Adams sci-fi, a Brandon Sanderson tome, and a classic I Am Legend. That's you know what? I would almost say, like, if we get a Brandon Sanderson, maybe we say Brandon Sanderson conversation in 2 months, and like let's just talk about I Am Legend next month. And like that's 2 books, but like I Am Legend is a pretty quick read. You're trying to learn? Right on. What are you taking any classes or just self-study? Any goals for your Japanese study? Let's snooze these ads for a few. If you're looking for recommends, the 40K thing does make me want to recommend Gaunt's Ghosts, starting with First and Only, but that wheel is pretty packed, so I'd hold off. I mean, everyone gets one pick, so feel free. Howcats, how you doing? Welcome in. Do I want to throw one on at the last second? This is the time. Please, if you want to read a book, throw it on the wheel. All are welcome. This is the last call for books. If you have a book on this wheel and you want to change your choice, also you can tell me that now. So I'll give it like a minute. You know, that's what it's here for. Yeah, I definitely don't mind. Please, everyone, throw books on. One per customer. Whether you read the book last time or not. The only thing I would say is, like, if you throw a book on the wheel, please come to the stream next time. I know life gets in the way. Like, a Twitch stream is not the priority for anybody, but like, if your book is chosen, please try and like read it with us and come for the discussion if it is your book. And I'm always willing to work with someone on schedule to make it a time that they can attend for. But yeah, that's my only request. But then, like, if your book doesn't get chosen, like, no obligation. You don't have to read the book. You can just read the books on the months that you're interested or that your book comes up, and then, you know, come and leave as you please. It's a very lax book club. I haven't read it yet, but I've been sitting on it. I have one I've been trying to read. Yeah, what you got? I should spite y'all and put something like The Tale of Genji on there. I would love to see that, honestly. If you want to, McTeddy. Like, a couple of you are saying, like, joke suggestions, or like, but like, it doesn't have to be a joke. If you got a serious suggestion, please let me know. This is a joke, don't put it on there. Okay. First and Only by Dan Abnett. All right. Oops. Still studying until August, September, hopefully. Oh, right on. Okay. Any goals for your study that you're working towards? I couldn't ask anyone to read that. Like, it's interesting in its way, but no. God, no. I want to read more, like, classical Japanese literature, though, you know? I always wanted to go through the 4 classical Chinese novels as well. I only made it through 2, which they're 2 of my favorite books now. Journey to the West and Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Books are fucking awesome. But there's, like, 4 that are kind of held up as, like, the pillars of classical Chinese literature. I've wanted to do the other 2. But also, this book club might not be... Like, some of those... Man, Journey to the West... Actually, both those books are so long. Water Margin is fantastic. Do you recommend? Yeah, there's that one in the... what is it? Dream of Red Mansions, I think, is the other one. The Three Kingdoms and Journey to the West are the 2 big ones that, like, are very well represented in culture. Not easy reads? Okay. Yeah, okay. So you read all those? That's cool. Is that your favorite? I want to be able to move and live there. Oh, right on. I hate it where I live, and Japan has always been my dream living spot, as well as England. Oh, nice. Well, I hope you're able to achieve that dream. Yeah, I've been here for a very long time, and Do recommend. Japan. Very wonderful place. But for now, I'll stick with passing the N5 test eventually. Good luck. Hell yeah. That was my Mandarin teacher's favorite book. Oh, no kidding. I didn't know you studied Mandarin. New McTeddy lore. Was this at university? Yeah, Water Margin is probably my favorite. They have some legit interesting storytelling style. Did you read it in Chinese? Or in translation? Because, like, those books, I don't know about Water Margin, but, like, I read Romance of the Three Kingdoms when I was living in China. And I got it at the, I had a friend who was at the university. And so she would check me books out of the university library and then let me borrow them from her. And so I got these hardcover editions. It was like, I think a set of 4 that I got one by one. And like half of it, you had the English on one page and the Chinese on the other. And I would like try and read the Chinese, but it was like classical Chinese, like not happening. And then I was even like, I would read it at work on a lunch break or something. And my coworkers would be like, "You're not reading the right side of that, right?" Like, no. It's like, okay, good. Because like even we can't really read that very well. It's like the equivalent of like, I don't know, like Middle English maybe. No, Adult Ed. Okay. When I quit games, I took classes to start using my brain again. That's awesome. I actually go back to her class again on Tuesday. Oh, hell yeah. And I read all translated. I'm new to Mandarin. I still suck. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. Because you gotta know. Hey, Magic Joe, what's going on? Welcome.
How are you feeling on this glorious day?
There's no like gradual, like with Japanese, you can like ease yourself in with hiragana and katakana, and then even when the kanji show up, furigana. But like Chinese, you just gotta know it. Do you not know how to read that character? I guess you got pinyin that sometimes gets written below, but even then, you gotta know the tones. It's a lot. That said, I do kind of miss the ease of Chinese when I'm trying to study Japanese grammar. In retrospect, like Chinese feels a lot easier than Japanese, Jesus Christ. Like just even like the way you would think through trying to express something in Chinese. It's like a lot more intuitive for an English speaker because of like, it's like subject, verb, object. And just, yeah. I think we got some ads kicking off. So fast and the tones are rough for me. You know Chinese then? I wouldn't say I really know it these days, but I'm trying to get reacquainted. I picked it back up because it was 10 years ago that I lived there. But yeah, I was in Taiwan in December, and so like it was a process over a couple of days of like I landed. It's like I don't know how to say anything to anybody anymore, and by like day 3 or 4, like I was having conversations. Like we stayed on a tea farm, and I'm just like drinking tea with. It was like at an Airbnb. They ran like a tea factory and a tea farm. I was like having tea with the people who ran it, and like we were, you know, it was like light conversation. Like, okay, it's still somewhere down, like nestled in this gray matter, but you gotta unearth it. Been lurking, just finished one battle after another. Oh man, how do you feel? Sheesh, heard you watch it recently as well. Great flick. I feel like that's film of the year for me. I would have said Sinners, but holy shit, that movie. Powerful. I loved it. I want to live in 1-4 places, either Otaru, Mutsu, Niigata, or Sendai. You might be in ads right now. I think some of you just got kicked into ad land. That's awesome. Actually, you've had some cool travels then. Yeah, I have. I've been very lucky. That's awesome that you're studying Mandarin. Oh, ad. Give me 1 second. Yeah, actually, okay. I'm going to take a quick break, come back, spin the wheel, and then jump into video games. So, last call for books. If did my book suggestion slip through? Yeah, sorry. What did? I'm sorry. I think I missed a couple. Oh, I did. I'm sorry. Crescent City. Oh, you were right above the bot. Sorry about that. Crescent City. Did I miss any others? I would put a book because I haven't read any of the books on my shelf, but I don't know how I feel about a book club. Okay. Yeah, and you're in ads right now. It's mostly poem, right? Were you talking about some of the classical Chinese novels? All right, so I'll be right back. We'll spin the wheel and we'll jump into Code Veronica. See y'all in just a second. All right, thanks everybody for hanging around. Back to our regularly scheduled literature program, yeah. Last call. Did I miss anybody's book request? Thank you. Jokes aside, if there's a book you want to read, please say it in chat now. Give it 30 seconds, and then we'll spin. And I need... I'm gonna say The Witcher. I'm gonna say The Witcher. As much as I want to start Vampire Hunter D, I'd like to read one more Witcher book, I think. Can I just, can I weight this more heavily? I don't know. Oh, here we go, wait. Okay. Made it like 3. I read so many books that I rarely have a list. Yeah. I dream of a world where I don't have any backlogs anymore, but I'll never live that life. All right, I think we're going to spin it. Let's see what we're reading for March. First and Only. What was this again? First and Only. Oh my god. Is this yours? Was this the one you just, twice? Is it? Okay, another PM. Lucky guy. Yeah, hell yeah. First and Only, huh? Actually, that's a lie. I own like 100 plus books to read. That's only like half a year. Oh, this is the 40K book. Okay, cool. I'm not suggesting again. I feel like that's enough. I mean, the gods have spoken. Don't feel like you got to do that. That's very kind of you to, you know, to want to let others get their books in. But First and Only is a military science fiction novel by Dan Abnett. I know this. What have I read by Dan Abnett? Maybe some comics. It could have been a number of things, honestly. A lot of 40K under his belt. Doctor Who. Alien Isolation. Huh. Okay. Cool. Military science fiction novel by Dan Abnett set in the Warhammer 40K universe, published in 1999, is the first novel in Gaunt's Ghost series, which, as of 2019, consists of 16 novels and multiple short stories, as well as 2 spin-off novels, Titanicus and Double Eagle, and a companion book that acts as a mock history of the military campaign, which forms the setting of the series. The work is Abnett's first published novel. Always cool to look at the first novel of someone. Hell yeah. We had this with, what? I know we've read someone's first novel. What was it? Probably a couple times. But now I just like, what have we read? What did we read last year? You guys just randomly own these books? No, I don't. I'll have to track this down. Find a way to read it. The Chaos Gods? Those are the ones. Only ones I know. Funny enough, I have this book on my backlog. Hell yeah. You might actually own this? Nice. Very prolific. Yeah, I could see that. Good God. Also, like, wow. Okay. I mean, it's been, 26, 27 years. 1999. But that's still a lot of output for a couple decades. Some change. Pretty much wrote the template for what 40K literature is. Yeah, that's right. I was like, it popped into my head and then just popped right back out. Elantris. We read Elantris. Sanderson's first novel. And that was cool, because like I really loved that book. But then I jumped right into Mistborn after that. And like, oh my god, Mistborn is so much better. So yeah, it's cool checking out an author's, especially a prolific author's, early work. You bought a Humble bundle of these books? Oh, nice. Okay. That's what I did for Vampire Hunter D, which maybe we'll get that next time or sometime soon. I feel y'all have a random corner in your house apartment you call your reading corner and drink tea with a candle. Mine is a shelf of mostly manga, honestly. Ever since I moved to Japan, I didn't, bring a bunch of books with me. So, even though I prefer reading a physical book these days, yeah, I read everything, digitally, ebook format. My local library does not have much of an English section. I live in a pretty rural part of Japan. So, like, you go into the English language section of the library, it's like 2 shelves, and it's like the Chronicles of Narnia, the Harry Potter books, Hillary Clinton's biography. Just, like, stuff. I feel like they stopped stocking it, like, around 2004. Like, there's just nothing more recent than that. And it's stuff you would see like at an airport, This is what they read in America. There's not much there. I don't think I'm gonna find First and Only over in my library. It's like the most like I don't know, like high profile like politician, like I don't know, autobiography or like again like airport lit that you would see in like 2003 or something maybe. I really can't do Sanderson's work. Yeah, I hope I have the Vampire Hunter D one. I think I do. I picked all those up recently. There was a bundle. Got like 30 books for real cheap. So I'm ready to go with those. I call it my mold corner, and I try not to look at it. I have a Magic ebook reader. Yeah. It's just an electronic reader with enough room for hundreds of books at a time. Why haven't you put Hillary's bio on the wheel? I need to attend my own book club. It doesn't look good if the person who hosts the book club didn't read the book. Almost finished with The Outsider by Stephen King. Found it randomly in our little free library. Oh, hell yeah. How are you enjoying it? Jake month. All right. So yeah, that's our book for next month. Thank you everyone who read the book this month and came to discuss it. Thank you everyone who's here that didn't read the book. Appreciate you just hanging out. Yeah. So Vigi Games, we'll read First and Only for next month. See y'all then. If y'all are heading out because you got your fill of literature, I appreciate you being here today. Thanks so much. Continual shout out to Radiated Fishy, MVP of the book club, has read every book every time. Sweet, I do own 30 Vampire Hunter D books. Oh, you got it. Hell yeah. That's probably the bundle I got too. Nice. See y'all next month. But for now, we're going to a little place called... Not Raccoon City. We're not in Raccoon City.